Introducing who we are, quite rightly so, we are a Cyber Essentials certification body. So hands, quick show of hands, who knows about Cyber Essentials? Who's heard of Cyber Essentials? Excellent, a few of you. And who has Cyber Essentials? Who's gone through the certification process? Okay, so a few of you as well. Fantastic. So as Paul mentioned, we were founded in 2016, and we did come out of the GCHQ accelerator. We're not spies, but we can't talk about that time anyway. But yeah, GCHQ accelerator is essentially where a lot of the cybersecurity organisations within the UK start life, and they embed themselves within NCSC and the government organisations around cybersecurity, and that's where we came from in 2016. We developed our own proprietary technology. So Cyber Essentials, as you'll see shortly, is about your first step in terms of cybersecurity. And we've developed some technology to help people not only obtain, but also maintain their good cyber posture and develop a cyber posture using Cyber Essentials. As mentioned, we are the leading independent Cyber Essentials certification body. And that's not a boast that we make lightly. We do 4,000 Cyber Essentials assessments a year, which is more than any other certification body in the UK, and we deliver that through partners. So we're looking after about 5,000 organisations and supporting their Cyber Essentials journey and their cyber security. And don't just take our word for it. We've got lots of testimonials, lots of people who will quite happily vouch for what we do. And moreover, we also have a number of awards. These are just some of the awards that we won last year. So we're an award-winning organisation that delivers solutions through our partners to our end-user customers. And like any good organisation, we solve a problem. And what is the problem that we're solving? It's cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity, this is a couple of years old, this particular slide, but in 2021, Steve Morgan, the editor-in-chief of Cybercrime magazine, stated that cybercrime at $6 trillion was the equivalent to the third largest economy behind the US and China. US is $25 trillion, China is something like $18 trillion. But at $6 trillion, it would be the third largest economy. But it's actually also a growing problem. As you can see there, it's estimated to get to 13 trillion by 2028 and 20 trillion, so overtaking China by 2030. So it's a big problem that is growing, and it's certainly a problem that a lot of businesses are now taking seriously, as with the show of hands for Cyber Essentials, those that have already got it and are aware of it. But it's certainly a boardroom topic that is top on the agenda. But it's not just a big business problem. Those numbers there, scary numbers, don't mean a great deal to me. I know what £1 million looks like or $1 million looks like. Billion means nothing to me. $1 trillion is just telephone numbers. But it is a growing problem, and it's not just small businesses. And when we break it down, and we understand why, big businesses have been talking about cybersecurity for a long time. They've managed to put the budget together. They've got the resources and the understanding, and they've essentially put a strategy and a plan in place to protect themselves against cyber threats and cyber security. Small businesses, on the other hand, not quite so. There's a lot more of them. It's 5.5 billion businesses in the UK. 99.5% of them are classed as small businesses. So a vast majority of businesses in the UK are small. And as a result, hackers are realising there's a much bigger pool for them to go and target. And because they're under-supported, a lot of the solutions that are available for businesses are classed as enterprise and aimed at enterprise, and therefore come with an enterprise price tag. So therefore, small businesses are under-supported in that area, which means they're less protected, more vulnerable, and because it's a small business, they've got more to lose as a result of it. So if they do get a breach, they do get hacked, it's more personal, and they're more likely to feel the pain of loss as a result of that. And there you go, a wall of statistics. In essence, as I mentioned there, 10 trillion by 2025. Small businesses are facing 10,000 attacks a day. That's according to the Federation of Small Business, their members, facing 10,000 attack attempts every day. 85% of CISOs loosen the security measures. So heard Steve before mention about COVID. During COVID, everyone panicked, suddenly needed to work from home. So a lot of their cyber security and cyber information managers loosened all of the policies and all of the solutions around cybersecurity so people could continue to work. We've still seen that overhang now where businesses still haven't caught up and put the infrastructure and solutions in place. So they're working, facilitating remote working, but that's obviously causing issues because they don't have the right solutions in place. Phishing is still a big problem. Passwords. Hands up, who uses the same password on multiple things? I used to. Apparently that's one of the biggest problems. LastPass, the password manager, recently did a survey and their employees were on average using the same password across 13 different applications. So it's one of the big areas that causes an issue, but it's one of the easiest areas to fix. And 95% of breaches are the result of human error. So most of the time it's down to people not knowing what they should or shouldn't be doing, and there are ways around sort of managing that and mitigating that. The upshot of all of that is that 60% of businesses that suffer a cyber breach will fail within the first 6 months, and that rises to 80% within 12 months. And if the event is what's considered a catastrophic event, so you lose access to your data for 10 days, 93% of businesses will cease trading within 12 months. So the impact of cybersecurity or cyber breach is massive. So it's important that organizations take it seriously and that small businesses now being targeted by the hackers do something about that. And you'll be pleased to know there is a solution. So the problem is there, it's extensive and we know what that problem is, but what is the solution? And from our perspective, we see the solution as EBS. Partners like EBS that provide technology and the solutions around cybersecurity. And working in partnership with ourselves, we deliver Cyber Essentials. Cyber Essentials is the first step on your cyber journey. It's not a solution in and of itself. It's a certification, but it shows where you're at and it demonstrates that you're doing the right things as far as cybersecurity is concerned. It's a government-backed scheme. It was introduced in 2014, and it's a certification process that identifies and highlights that as an organization, you're doing what you need to do. It's the first step. It's the minimum that businesses should be doing. It's the basics. It's not best practice. It's the basics that businesses should be doing. And by getting Cyber Essentials certified, you can demonstrate that you're doing the right things as far as cybersecurity is concerned. It was established for small businesses, but trouble is it's a government-backed scheme, so it's a little bit bureaucratic and sometimes it's a little bit complicated, and that's why we work with partners like EBS to deliver that and to support organizations to getting Cyber Essentials certified. It covers the 5 main technical controls. If you're more technically minded, the top of the screen is the things that we look at. If you're less technically minded, then obviously the 5 questions are the ones that we look to answer. I generally gravitate towards the bottom of the screen because I can just about spell IT, and beyond that it's a bit smoke and mirrors. But essentially we're looking to make sure that the internet connection is secure, looking to make sure that the most secure settings are switched on your company devices. Do you have full control over who has access to the information and the data within your organization? Do you have adequate protection against viruses and malware? And most importantly, are your devices up to date? We hear of zero-day attacks. That's where a piece of software or piece of hardware has a vulnerability that is found by a hacker, and they will exploit that. And then there's a mad rush and a mad race for the vendor then to fix that problem and to patch it. And then they release an update and that problem, that vulnerability is fixed. But during that time, there's a problem there. So if you're making sure that you've got the latest level of software, you're not going to be exploited by these vulnerabilities. The trouble with a lot of these vulnerabilities is you don't know they're being exploited until it's too late. So it's important that you make sure you've got all of your software up to date. So Cyber Essentials itself comes in 2 flavors, Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus. Cyber Essentials is a self-assessment provided and delivered in conjunction with EBS, so they'll help you go through the questionnaire, answer the questions, come to us. Within 24 hours, we'll assess that and verify whether it's a pass or a fail, and if it's a fail, we'll give some guidance as to what you need to do to get through and pass that. And you can do that as many times as you need as far as CyberSmart are concerned. It's unlimited resubmissions with your Cyber Essentials assessment. And then with Cyber Essentials Plus, it's the same questionnaire. In that questionnaire, you'll say you've got A, B, C, X, Y, Z in place. With the Plus, we then just say, okay, fine, let's see it. Let's verify that, and we'll do an audit and our own team of auditors will check to make sure that everything that you've said in the questionnaire is correct, and you've got that in place. So it's a much more stringent control, and as a result, a lot of organisations, particularly public sector, are now starting to insist on Cyber Essentials Plus rather than just Cyber Essentials. So why should you achieve Cyber Essentials? A number of reasons. If you want to deal with public sector, you've got no choice. They'll put it in the tender, it'll be a requirement. So if anything MOD, local authority, you're going to have at least Cyber Essentials, and more increasingly Cyber Essentials Plus. It will, by just getting Cyber Essentials, you'll know that you're protected against around about 99% of the most common cyber threats. So it's that first step on your cyber journey and making sure that you're protecting yourself and your organisation. It shows that you're taking it seriously throughout your supply chain. We'll come on to the supply chain in a second. One of the most important areas now is that more and more organisations are not so much not just concerned about their own cyber security, but also their suppliers and their customers, because that supply chain can be exploited. And we've seen examples where it has been exploited and it's caused an issue. And because that implicit trust between suppliers and customers, it makes it easier for hackers, once they've got into one organisation, to go sideways and get the other organisations as well. It helps you to identify weaknesses. So again, as I said, it's the first step on the journey. So once you know what you need to do, you can work with EBS and put the right solutions in place and just continually improve that cyber security. You'll be publicly listed on the NCSC database. So that's a database that people can check online just to make sure whether or not people do or do not have Cyber Essentials. So it's a good way of verifying, again, people you want to do business with, are they secure, and are they secure in the supply chain? So certainly worth it for that. And as I mentioned, it simplifies the conversation. And just to elaborate that on a little bit, here's a news item from, I think it was May last year. Capita, large organisation, lots of customers, lots of suppliers, were hacked. And as a result of I think it was a watering hole attack was what was used. So essentially they were hacked through their supply chain. But also because of that, a number of organisations within the supply chain, as it says 90 there, it's well over 100 now, but a number of organisations were also hacked because of that implicit trust between Capita and their suppliers and their customers. The hackers were able to then exploit that supply chain. So as a result, Capita is now subject to a lawsuit because their suppliers and customers that were hacked are now suing Capita as a result of that. And where does Cyber Essentials come in to this? Well, if you think about how do you verify supply chain, how do you verify what they're doing? Simon and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about this. We're used to seeing lots of documents, complex documents coming across our desks where people are asking the question, what are we doing about cybersecurity? What are we doing to protect our network? And it's a very laborious process to answer all of the applications and the appliances and the processes and everything that's in place. And it makes it a complicated question and a complicated answer. And in most cases, the answer will be too complicated. Unless you're an IT expert, the answer is going to mean nothing. I've got XYZ application in place or XYZ appliance. Whoopie-doo, means nothing to me. And that's the problem that most organisations have. So unless they understand the information that's coming back, the information's kind of pointless. But more importantly, you can't verify it. You've got no idea whether it's true. You've no idea whether they do have that firewall in place or they do have those policies and procedures in place. But if you could simply ask one question, are you Cyber Essentials certified? All of a sudden it becomes much more simple. It's a yes or no answer. And if it's a yes, you know they're doing the basics. You know they're doing the right things. They're protected from 99% of breaches of threats out there. But they're also taking steps to protect you and your suppliers and your customers and other people within the supply chain. And you know that just from a simple question and a simple answer. You don't need to know what appliances they're using because that's already been verified as part of the assessment. And you can check to see whether they are Cyber Essentials certified because of the NCSC database. Just go online, check on there. Are they Cyber Essentials certified? Is it Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus? The information's there. And because it's such an important topic, we've worked with EBS to put together a document that's certainly worth having a look at and some resources that's worth having a look at there, how you can protect your business and manage your supply chain in terms of cybersecurity. So, in summary, I've not seen any lights yet. How am I doing? Oh, 4 minutes. Okay, I'm okay. So in summary, CyberSmart provides something called complete cyber confidence. So complete cyber confidence is essentially a simplified way to get cyber essentials, but then not only obtain cyber essentials, but maintain that and improve your cyber posture moving forward. We do that through a number of tools. One is obviously cyber essentials itself. You're certified within 24 hours. Unlimited feedback, unlimited resubmissions. Essentially, we're there to help you get through Cyber Essentials. We've got unlimited support as well, either through EBS or you can come to us direct and ask some questions and get the information you need. And once you've got Cyber Essentials, you get 25K's worth of free insurance. So providing you're less than 20 million turnover, domiciled in the UK, you can qualify for the 25K's worth of free cyber insurance. And that's all delivered as part of a wraparound service with EBS. Cyber Essentials Plus, as I said before, it's exactly the same questionnaire. You don't have to provide any more information, but there's then a process beyond that where we will check and verify that all the information is correct. And that process generally takes about 2 weeks, but can be a bit flexible. And we will audit, we'll do a remote audit of the questionnaire and a sample of the devices and just make sure everything's as it should be. But again, that's all done in conjunction with the guys at EBS and the teams there. And then we've got our own dashboard. So our dashboard is kind of our IP, if you like. That's where we've developed the tools and the resources to help you to develop and to grow from Cyber Essentials. As I said, it's the basics, it's the minimum you should be doing. But beyond that, you've got your cyber posture. And you see the little red dot in the top? That's the SMART score. That's where we're taking all of the information in and we're making use of that information and helping you to understand where your organization is from a cybersecurity posture perspective and how to improve that. So that could be things like cyber awareness training, that can be things like better policy management, that could be vulnerabilities on the devices. There's a number of different ways in which you can improve your cyber posture, and we help you see that and understand that. And we've got an application we're bringing out V5 in a couple of months, and we're hoping that we'll work with EBS to deliver that solution, which again will just continually monitor your devices and make sure that you are secure and protected. And that's the application, Active Protect. So that's coming with V5 in a couple of months' time, so watch out for notifications on that. And one of the benefits of doing that is with Active Protect, we take that 25K's worth of cyber insurance and we boost it to 100K free of charge. So just by using Active Protect and making sure that you are protected against cyber threats and that your devices are remaining compliant, we will free of charge boost that to 100K's worth of cyber insurance. And that gives you complete cyber confidence. So we look at the people, the technology, and the policies, the processes to make sure that you as an organization are doing what you need to do to protect yourself and to build that foundation. And if I can leave you with a quick story. So there's a couple of hikers that were running through the foothills of Canada, and they came across a bear. And as you do when you see a bear, you panic, turned and they ran. And as they're running away, they looked over the shoulder and they noticed that the bear was not only catching up, following them, but catching up as well. And one of the backpackers reached into his backpack, pulled out a pair of running shoes and started to put these running shoes on. And his mate turned to him and said, "You fool, what are you trying to do? You'll never outrun a bear." And he says, "No, but I'll outrun you." And that's where we are with hacking. It's not about being unhackable because it doesn't exist. LastPass is a password management tool. Got hacked. If they can get hacked, anyone can get hacked. So being unhackable doesn't exist, but it's being less attractive to the hackers. So if the hackers, I don't want to besmirch any hackers in the room, but they are inherently lazy. So they'll go for the line of least resistance. And if you're more hackable than somebody else, they're going to hack you. If you're less hackable, they'll move on. So that's what Cyber Essentials does. It makes you less hackable to hackers. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.